So what really is the big deal about Jesus? Wasn't he just a trickster, a magician, some 2,000 years ago who was able to pull the wool over people's eyes before they were scientifically advanced to know any better? Isn't that just Jesus, a magician? Hi, I'm Aaron. Welcome to Unapologetics. So today's topic comes from Chelsea at the church office, and I'm going to shout out to her. And if you have an idea of a topic that you would like to hear me talk about, go ahead and write it down in the comments here. Like and subscribe, share this with somebody that you may think would find this relevant. So is Jesus really not a musician, a magician? Wasn't Jesus just a trickster? Okay, now how would I answer that to someone that I was sitting with? Let me give it a try. If we focus only on the miracles of Jesus, if that's where we stop, we are stopping in the wrong place. It would be like finding a diamond while you're walking down the road and saying, oh, isn't that a pretty rock? And putting it in your rock collection. And yes, it's a pretty rock, but it's also a diamond that's worth a lot of money. So I want you to hear that in this idea that when we focus on the miracles, or in a skeptical sense, the tricks of Jesus, when we focus on these things, we are finding this really pretty something. But we need to look at the deeper meaning, the bigger meaning, which is more valuable than the things themselves. Now, it's kind of like a worldview, right? You only see what you're pointing at. So let me run out what I mean here. Scientific Americans, we like to think about science and things, and we point a finger at Jesus. Oh, well, that couldn't have happened because miracles don't happen, right? People don't walk on water. People don't come back from the dead. Well, you know what? We need to be not so arrogant. 2,000 years ago, people knew dead people stayed dead. 2,000 years ago, people knew people didn't walk on water. 2,000 years ago, people knew that leprosy or skin conditions weren't just cured by someone touching them. They weren't that stupid. I mean, after all, the Romans invented concrete, and the Colosseum still stands today. They have I'm scientific, and I don't know what goes in concrete, do you? So we need to get off our high horse in this way. Step number one. Step number two in this idea is to realize, here's that worldview. We need to, if you only look at Jesus in this scientific way, that's where you're going to stop, and you're going to miss the bigger part, the bigger diamond, the value in Jesus more than these miracles, okay? So what I mean by that is a good Jew of Jesus' day, they weren't looking for miracle workers. They weren't looking to be impressed. They were looking for God. They were looking for God to show up and do all the things that God had promised. They were looking for the defeat of evil. They were looking for peace. We can hear the prophet Isaiah, who said, when God comes, war will be done away with. Swords and spears will be hammered into farm implements, and they will know war no more. That's what they were waiting for. You see, so they weren't just sitting around waiting to be oohed and awed as a bunch of cave people who were so stupid that they couldn't even tell up from down. They were waiting for something great, for God to do something great. One of the other prophets wrote, oh God, that you would rip open the heavens and come down. That's what they were waiting for. Okay, so they were waiting for that. And so here comes Jesus, who is the fulfillment of the promises of God. Here comes Jesus, who is the incarnate, the presence of God himself. Jesus says, if you see me, you see the Father. If you know me, you know the Father, because Jesus says, I reveal the Father perfectly. If you know me, you know the Father. Now, Jesus then is God returning to God's people. And this is the diamond part, not the, ooh, isn't that a pretty rock? This is the diamond meaning. Jesus is God himself who comes to fix what's right to fix what's wrong with the world and put everything right. That's the diamond meaning, not the pretty rock meaning. And all the other things are just part and parcel of that bigger meaning. So all of the miracles weren't, I've been in church for a long time, and I've heard a lot of people say, oh, they were to show that he was God. No, they really weren't. The miracles weren't to impress people and to prove that he was God. Jesus was doing a lot of other things that were doing that. They were part of that, but it was more that the miracles of Jesus showed authority. When Jesus when Jesus calmed the storm out on the lake, he was showing he had authority over the elements, over created order itself. When Jesus healed his sick friends, or a blind person, or a person with leprosy, he was showing that he, as God, as Messiah, had authority over illness. When Jesus cast out demons from the man to the pigs, he was showing that he had authority over the demonic. When Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, he was showing he had authority over life and death. And then on the cross, Jesus dies. Jesus gives up his life. And on Resurrection Sunday, Easter morning, Jesus comes back to life through the power of God. Now, where in the world do the miracles fit into this? Well, in the fact that they just show Jesus' authority to do something greater. So those are the pretty rock meanings, to keep using our analogy. The diamond meaning is that Jesus is God himself. Jesus is God come to his people, come to his creation to fix what had gone wrong. And what had gone wrong? Well, you know what's gone wrong. Evil, death has gone wrong. Right now, I'm standing outside. Do you hear the sirens? Someone's in trouble. Evil is in the world. Right now, maybe that's family violence. Maybe that's a drug overdose or something. I don't know. It could be something like a cat stuck in a tree, but if it's the worst things, it shows that life has gone wrong because evil is in the world. Death is in the world. Greed and mortality and hatred and envy and lust and vice of every kind is destroying what God has created as good. That's what Jesus came for. Jesus didn't come to be a miracle worker to impress you so that you'd be a nice person so that you could go to heaven when you die. Although Jesus does do miracles, and we do know that we got to be with God when we die. Jesus came to fix evil. Now, the bigger point of this is that on the cross, Jesus takes upon himself all of the evil of the world. And if you want to personify evil there, evil itself thought that it would win on the cross. That if you were to use an image of N.T. Wright, my favorite scholar, N.T. Wright, the forces of evil, the storm of evil blew itself out on Jesus on the cross. The forces of all of that death and wicked and evil blew and raged upon Jesus that day on the cross. And Jesus himself even cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? The skies turned dark. That is evil piled up upon Jesus. And then Easter morning, 3 days later, 2 days later, whichever gospel you want to read, Sunday morning, Jesus steps out of the tomb to a new creation. And we can, I invite you to come back to church on Easter morning 2021, and I'll talk about this at length. It's my favorite day with my favorite verse. Early in the morning of the new week, Gospel of John, Jesus steps out of the tomb to new creation where evil has started to be defeated. Now I say started because it'll be fully defeated when Jesus comes back. It started to be defeated and it gets defeated in you and me. Are we perfect? No. But when we're disciples of Jesus, we start that process of looking like Jesus. Evil is defeated within us. Sin no longer has its grasp upon us. We are free. We make mistakes. We still sin, but it's not in control of us. So is Jesus a miracle worker? Yes. Was Jesus a magician? No. Magicians are in it for the crowd. Jesus was here to fix what had gone wrong. Jesus was here to set right what had been broken through sin, through evil, through death. That presence in the world, suffering, and all of that, malice, Jesus takes it onto himself and does an end to it. Now, the church, you and I, we're invited not to do miracles. We're invited to be like Jesus, to take up a cross, to take evil into ourselves sometimes, to stand in the way of evil, even if it means our life, to love each other to the end. To greater love has no one than this, that they would give their life for their friends. That's Jesus. And you're invited to that. I can't do miracles. I can't even do magic tricks. Want to see me, hey Rocky, want to see me pull a rabbit out of my hat? I can't even do those. But I can be a disciple. I can be a servant. I can be a sacrificial servant. I can be a person who tries to create more than destroy, to lift up more than tear down. I can be a person in whom, a person in whom evil has been defeated. That's what Jesus is about. He wasn't here to impress you with miracles. He's here to change your life. He's here to change your heart, to defeat evil in you. Do you have it that you need it taken care of? Do I? Yeah, that's what Jesus is about. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.